couldn't believe it when I drove up, because it was in Manchester. I walked into there and I thought, oh my God, that patient. And I still think of that patient today. And I think, Yvonne.
Of the fact that I want to talk about different things or different ways that people can help themselves, that people that are listening to this and thinking, oh, I feel like that, or my thoughts don't stop, or I want to feel better. But I was just a bit earlier, we were just talking about stories in the ambulance service. And
because we were.
oh yeah, because we were touching getting to know people a bit.
I could touch your foot again.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how things like just flow into one to another, isn't it? Yeah, of like getting to know somebody way too quickly in ambulance service. And I was talking about a story of me and a gentleman that we'd never met each other before, and you chuck straight onto an ambulance and you go out to your first patient, and the patient has fallen in a really tight space, and so you're kind of stepping over the patient, going, oh, sorry, I just step over you, and then your crewmate's trying to get around you, and you're trying to get all the equipment around to try and get this person up. And sort of I'm at the feet end trying to sort the feet end, and then this crewmate, he kind of bent over, and it was like, I'm in the face, and it's like, and he kind of looked back and he went, well, I've got to know you now, sort of thing. Like straight away is like, you have to get to know each other really quick.
Yeah.
And you got a lovely story about a patient in the airlock. Can you say that again, Kirsty?
Yeah, so I would just say that our patients in the ambulance service can be quite influential to us as well. Despite what we help them with, they can help us in some way as well.
Oh, yeah,
because I was just on shift one day, and I was talking to someone else's patient, actually, who was in a wheelchair going in to see the doctor with an oxygen mask on his face, and he looked up at me while I was talking to his crew, and he said, bloody hell, when he looked at me, and I was like, what, and he was like, oh, nothing. I said, no, go on, say it, what do you want to say? He was like, you look like you're a gladiator. I said, oh, thank you I said, wow, thanks, like, I've never had a compliment like that before, but all this running I'm doing and working out is obviously working, isn't it, if I look like one of them? And then it just planted a seed in my head, and I thought, oh, I'm going to just, maybe I could. Like, I'm a little bit, I'm strong. Like, I know I don't look it, but I am stronger than I look, and that's like my superpower, really, because I'm stronger than I look. And I thought maybe I could just try. So I had a look into it, and I applied for the Gladiators, and then like a week later the Gladiators called me up and said, we just want a little chat with you.
Wow.
Tell us about your journey, your fitness journey. And they was like, right, if you've got in, we'll call you back after a week or two. If you haven't heard back off us, you haven't got in. So they rang me back on exactly 2 weeks day. And I were on shift, and I were with a patient, and patient was stable, I must say. But my phone rang, and I said to my crewmate, I've really got to get this. So you'd be all right for a minute. So I answered it, and it were the Gladiators, and they said, yeah, you've got in now. We want you to now do us a video about what you're all about, your fitness journey, and just let us know a bit about yourself.
Wow.
And then I thought, oh, yeah, we'll see. Sent it off. It was mainly taking the mick out of the Gladiators, really. I was more like lifting, instead of just talking about myself, I took the mick out of them, which is kind of my personality as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'd do my video like lifting a weight, going like, or like with a kettlebell, I'd be like, Comet, I'm going to knock you back to deep space. And I'd like throw the kettlebell up into the air. So that's what I were doing. And with fire, I got a little candle. I'm like, fire, just do the candle out. So they liked it. They got me into the Gladiator tryouts this year, and I got to the final stages of it.
Wow.
I didn't make this year's shows. I'm invited back for the next one. But it's because I've got to work on my push technique, because they'd asked me before I went if I had any experience with contact sports, like rugby or whatever.
Things.
No, I said definitely not. But they had us with big like pads, like pushing against each other, and it was just too much for me because they were too big. You know, they're like rugby player girls, and a lot. I mean, agility and speed, fine,
you can do
but
that.
just the push, it was just too.
So
I couldn't even push again. It's like pushing against a big bloke.
Are you working on that?
Yeah, I'm trying to work on it now. Yeah, so I've learnt a lot from them. I've trained with the Gladiators for a bit, and I've got a bit of that insider knowledge now.
Oh, good.
So there was a girl on it actually this year who's tried a few times to get in, and she was on it this year and did really well.
Yeah.
But it's just knowing, because I went into the tryouts just, as a runner and just lifting the odd little dumbbell, thinking I was that like as good as them. And then they were getting me to do all these things. I thought, I've never done this before in my life.
Did you feel that it was...
it was an amazing day.
Yeah,
honestly.
you must have learnt so much.
I couldn't believe it when I drove up, because it was in Manchester. I walked into there and I thought, oh my God, that patient. And I still think of that patient today. And I think, if only he knew. He said that one thing to me, and I've tried it, and here I am. I'm stood in the Gladiator tryouts.
That just goes to show the importance of just saying, something.
Just giving someone a compliment,
off the cuff like that.
Yeah.
How much of an impact it can have on someone.
Yeah.
And it's not just...
Yeah.
It's obviously had a positive impact on you, but it just goes to show how much someone saying something negative to you can have the opposite effect.
Absolutely.
And that was only one comment.
Yeah.
So when you've grown up with,
from
if you grew up in a household where you were constantly put down and criticised, then it's no wonder that a lot of adults have issues with listening to the inner critic in their head, because we talk to ourselves how our parents spoke to us. So if we're constantly criticised, we will be criticising ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
It's just one thing.
Yeah,
and like I say, if we,
thought.
Complimenting or just saying one good thing about somebody in a day actually goes a long way.
I was really mindful of that.
Even if it's just like, your hair looks nice or whatever, it just means a lot, you know, because when I had a child when I was 16, people would say to me when I was 20 and I had a 4-year-old child, a 5-year-old child, they'd automatically think I was just a lot older. So when I'd say I was 20, they'd be like, really? And and it gave me a bit of a complex that I looked older than what I was, So, and that's where I've struggled with my own insecurities, by always feeling like that.
Did that affect how you thought you looked?
Oh, definitely, yeah, because I thought I looked old.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I looked old, yeah. There's always things you want to change on yourself, isn't there? Something, even with me, with fitness, there's always something else you can work on, or something else. We're always trying to improve ourselves in whichever way we want to do it.
And do you think we're trying to, and I'm just say this like as in all of us, because we all do stuff like that, don't we? Like when we go on diets, or when we do fitness, or when we try and change our outward self. Do you think we're doing that for ourselves, or are we doing that for other people, do you think?
Well, I'm definitely doing it for myself.
That's good.
Because
that's a good thing.
I don't rely on anyone else for it. That's why I always run on my own, you know, because I can just get up and do it. And it's my own thing.
It doesn't cost you anything. You
can I've lost weight, but actually motivating, just, it's easy for me to do, because that's all been a bonus of it, really.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's never, ever been about like being skinny or looking a certain way. It's always been about up here and feeling better in myself.
Yeah.
That's So it doesn't matter. I still felt as happy today as I was 3 stone heavier when I got back from a run,
Yeah. Yeah. It's the feeling that
it's just that feeling that, that time for me gives me. Yeah.
And do you do anything on a daily basis that, so if you, because I know I've got so your daily routine is running, getting out of bed and going straight for a run.
Yeah.
What have you got a daily routine that you kind of do? Not every day, but most days, if you can fit it in.
I meditate most days.
do you do that as soon as you wake up in the morning?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes if I'm starting work early, I don't give myself such. I would much rather spend like 20 extra minutes in bed than do something, and that's fine because I know I'll give myself space at the end of the day.
Okay,
so if I don't get space at the beginning, I'll move it to the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But generally, I always meditate. I always ground myself.
And what does meditating look like for you? Because meditating is a really broad word.
Yeah, it's a huge subject.
And, when you use that word meditation, people go, oh, you can almost hear the eyes rolling.
Yes.
Because it's all like,
I mean, I've got no experience with that. When I think of meditating, I think you sat with your legs crossed like this.
So what we did at the beginning, that's a form of meditation.
Yeah.
Dancing is a form of meditation.
Yeah.
Running is a form of meditation. Music is a form of meditation. Going for a walk in nature is a form of meditation.
Yeah.
It's whatever it is that works for you. Writing for me is a form of meditation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you. So you do so how do you like to meditate? Because then I'll explain how I do it, and then we'll see how.
Yeah, I like what you're saying about like the different forms. We can reach a meditative state in so many different ways.
Yes.
For me, I always struggled with. So basically, I spent up until the age of probably 31. I'm 36 now. Just to give you some idea of timeline. Completely dissociated. Completely. I was out of my body all the time. Running on adrenaline, and I wasn't aware of what was going on in my body. So meditation to me is coming back to my center and coming back to my body. So grounding is great. If I haven't got much time, I'll do a grounding. So I love the types of grounding where you're standing on the earth, or even if, I'm a bit of a lazy meditator sometimes. I love lying down. I don't tend to fall asleep, which is quite helpful, but I know a lot of people do. So sometimes it's good to sit up. But I love lying down, just chilling. But I love following guided meditations.
Yeah, me too.
Particularly ones that involve body scans or NSDR, non-sleep deep rest. So they use Ayurvedic Mama points. I think they're called Mama points. So it's focusing your attention on different parts of the body, but not thinking about it almost like you're looking at it, but actually getting inside and feeling it. Which is completely different because it's easy to kind of, well, it's not easy actually to sit there and be like, okay, I've got this thought coming in, I've got that thought coming in. But getting into the body and listening to the body, ignoring the mind, just letting the thoughts come in and go out again. This is like passive meditation where I'm sat there generally in silence with a timer, and I've only just started practicing that. The meditation I've done up till now has been guided because that's just been easier for me.
And where do you access these guides? Is it
I originally started on YouTube. So there's a brilliant guy called Mark Williams who has YouTube videos. He wrote a book on mindfulness and his meditations are on YouTube. They're also on Insight Timer, so I use Insight Timer a lot. It's one of the only subscriptions I have to anything because there's so many meditations.
Is that Insight Timer?
Insight Timer.
Timer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great app. And it actually has a timer element in it. So you can use different sounds of crystal bowls or gongs. So rather than having your iPhone timer that goes off after
it's
your
really
10 minutes.
Like, as well. And it's
exactly.
starkly wakes you out of the state.
So these are really nice noises just to end your time. But yeah, for me, that's part of it. And I love what you say about your writing. I used to write poetry. I used to write short stories, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly when that stopped. But I think it was one of my core beliefs is I'm not good enough, and that follows me everywhere. And it's still there, but I'm able to be aware of it now and kind of bypass it. But I think I stopped writing because of that voice that was like, you're not good enough. Why are you writing? And I have resistance to writing now, I think, because it's very different to talking as we are. It feels a bit too final for me.
Right.
So I wonder if writing in pencil would help me rather than writing in pen, or burning the pages once I've written them.
Yeah, I've heard of someone say that to me before, like any thoughts you have, write them down, or any, negative thoughts, write them down and then burn it. And then that's kind of...
It's gone then.
Well, that's what they
send
say.
it
I've
off
never
to the
tried
universe.
it, but...
Yeah, I do journal, and I once I'm doing it, I enjoy it, but it's that resistance I feel in me that I'm like, oh, I don't want to be doing this because of whatever. I don't want someone to read it, or I don't want someone to see it. I don't want it to be like real.
I see.
And things come out so differently.
Yeah.
Compared to up here, when you're writing it is very different, because writing is creative energy. So it comes from somewhere deeper than here.
Yes. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, because I do my best writing after a meditation, because I've already connected to my inner being, my inner self.
Yeah, I guess meditation. Like bypassing that thinking mind, like with the drumming in a shamanic meditation or something. I have started reading a great book, which is basically, it's so, like you say, like all the books have gone out of my head. But
yeah, you can't think of any names.
I've got
all these books that I was going to recommend and all these authors. But
it's basically a spiritual way of finding your inner artist.
Yeah.
So whether that inner artist wants to paint or dance or make, movies, is bypassing the thinking mind. So she says in it, when you first wake up, write 3 pages of whatever comes up, and then discard those 3 pages, because what that's done, it's allowed your egoic mind to have its say, basically. Right. It's allowed it to speak. And you're like, right, okay, now you can go over there.
Okay.
And allow the creative energy to really come through.
It's interesting how there's so many, I've spoken to so many people about, because of course I've been in the world of self-help now for this last year, and sort of in March I went to London to meet the Hay House team. They came over from America, and I met 250 wonderful humans that are all budding authors as well. But that weekend was so transformational for me, because I was in a room full of creative people, and which brought me back to myself a bit again, really, because I think in our job, in sort of being a paramedic, is creative in the way you have to do creative thinking, because you have to problem solve. And you have to be a really quick thinker, and you have to think on your feet. My analytical brain, I think that's the right part of the brain, I'm not sure, that of working out problems has sharpened so much over the years. Yeah. Bearing in mind, I've been in the service 10 years. How long have you been in the service?
I've been NHS for 23 years.
Yeah.
And I've been in the ambulance service, but that includes community first responding for 12.
Yeah. So you learn to problem solve like this, and like in the police as well. You
make a decision.
Make a decision.
Yeah, and you've got to kind of run with it. And also we're taught to as well, because my crewmates will say I'm really calm around anything. I can walk into anything, and you'll see me like I am now. You won't know how I'm feeling,
Yeah,
like what do they say? Like a swan, as graceful as a swan with the feet flapping underneath. Yeah.
But
no one will ever see that in me.
Because what problem solving does is it pushes you into the logical part of your brain, which takes you out of your body.
Yes.
So that part of your brain is the more masculine element.
Yes.
So, this is something that I could talk about for days. And it's super interesting. So all of us within us, whatever gender we are, however we identify, we have masculine and feminine energy within us.
Yes.
How society is nowadays, it's more in the masculine. So the masculine energy is problem solving, logical thinking. It's getting from A to B as quickly and directly as possible. It's a direct energy.
Yeah.
The feminine energy is a flowing energy, and it's constantly changing.
Yeah, and it's more creative.
And that's where the creative energy lies.
Yeah.
Which is why you need to get into, because the masculine is up here, feminine in the body.
Is down.
Embodiment.
Yeah, that's
Which is why bypassing this, you're reach your creative energy flow.
That's right. And being around those people in Hay House connected me to that again, because of course I must have been, and I was in that creative energy for years and years, because, you know, I taught dancing or in a creative way for about 25 years, bearing in mind I'm much older than you two, in my 50s. So I've 25 years of that creative energy. But of course, now I'm in this masculine energy a lot at work. And I've forgotten a little bit how to be creative. And then my writing, and I paint as well, and my music and creating music, you know, is all connecting. It connects me, keeps me connected to that creative side of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is what this podcast is about for me as well, is my own. I can do what I like. We can talk about whatever we want. It flows naturally. We're kind of tapping into that channeling, flowing kind of thing. Our conversation has happened really naturally this afternoon, hasn't it? I was worried that we'd have nothing to speak about, but I feel we could speak for hours and hours and hours.
Absolutely. And that's again, that is the feminine energy, is tapping into intuition.
Yes, and it's and because we've allowed us this space, and this has given us a space. And like I said to you on the phone yesterday, I said, we'll make this a sacred space. This is our little sacred space for the afternoon for us to talk. And I think when you were saying about going to your choir, that was your sacred space at that difficult time.
Yeah.
And you, with all the different things that you've done loads of stuff. Really interesting. I mean, we're literally going to be talking about
that's still the tip of the iceberg, really. I feel like we're only partway down the iceberg here.
I feel another podcast.
Absolutely, you two are like two peas in a pod, you two.